Kubia Nindai, Down AECG Du, Wininga Wabutana, Gugu Nini Winangalina, Nini Bula Wayama Winangalina, Gaya Nair Kayara, Yina Gaya Gamilaroi, Ningu Weatherogu. My name is Kayara Neen, and I'm a proud Gamilaroi woman belonging to the Neen and Weatherall families.
And my name's Warren. I'm a proud Ngunnawal man from Yass Canberra way, but I've always lived in Sydney. We work for the New South Wales AECG Secretariat as project officers. Today we're here to celebrate National Aboriginal Children's Day and Education Week.
National Aboriginal Children's Day is an opportunity to show support for Aboriginal children,
as well as learn about the crucial impact that culture, family and community play in the life of Aboriginal children.
National Aboriginal Children's Day has been running annually since 1988.
Education Week is about celebrating the great work done in public education by teachers, students and staff. The New South Wales AECG supports 6 language nests across New South Wales. These are Bunjalung, Gumbangi, Wiradjuri, Gamilaroi, Barkindji and Murawari. Our deadly language educators teach Aboriginal languages in many schools and communities to Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal students.
Today we're going to go on a journey around New South Wales to 4 different language groups: Bunjalung, Gumbangi, Wiradjuri and Gamilaroi, focusing on native Australian animals.
Now before we get started, there are some protocols we need to understand when teaching Aboriginal languages, because languages can't be taught in isolation of culture. Cultural protocols are a set of cultural rules that advise the cultural practices for teaching Aboriginal languages and cultures. You should engage with your local community to find out what cultural protocols to follow.
So to get you started, we want to show you an app developed by the New South Wales AECG that has 6 different language groups on it. It includes a dictionary, 3 games, Pictionary, word search and story fill to help you learn these languages.
Kayara, using the app, can you find the Wiradjuri word for emu?
So first, you can click the little arrow that will list all of the different language groups that we have. And I'm going to go to Wiradjuri. Now I'm going to go to the dictionary to find the word emu. Dictionary. And scroll down because it's in alphabetical order to find emu. Click on emu and it comes up. You can also listen to the sound of this word if you're not sure how to pronounce it.
Dinawan.
Dinawan.
That's great. Can you now show me how to use the story fill, maybe with a different language?
So I'm just going to go back and we're going to go to Gamilaroi, to story fill, and it has a sentence that we have to answer. The man paddled his something across the river. I wonder what his something is. Let's try this word. Better luck next time. Even if you get it wrong, it will still tell you the correct pronunciation of the word, and you can also listen to this.
Nanda.
Nanda.
Good job. Okay, now let's cross over to the Wiradjuri language educators, see what they're doing.
Naru Banigu Gubara, Wiradjuri Mangalang Nangu, Nurumbanga Nina Nangira, Durinya Gai, Mandangu, Wurgabinagu. So what I said there was I would like to acknowledge my Wiradjuri people, the traditional owners of this country, which this video is going to be shot on today. So thank you for listening. Welcome to Dubbo! Yurdumarang!
Welcome to Western Plains Zoo.
I'm Anthony.
And I'm Brian.
I'm Darren.
I'm Shane.
Yurdumarang, you and Shane. Wiradjuri man in Dubbo. We're out here at the zoo on Dundalamo country. Looking at all the landscape and all the different animals from all over the world and how they're adapting to it. So it's all sandstone country, and you see a lot of currajongs and a lot of
them ranga here. We had another young mudden scar tree. By the looks of that shape, we cut a canoe, wagang. So we would have went into the gulling and caught some guya, some fish, and then we would have brought it back to the gade, the land, and cooked it in the wane, the fire. And if you look down here, there's a milby, which is a hole in Wadri. That would have been for willow or gindine, possums, and that would have been our farming to catch them when we was looking for food or warm clothes from their fur.
All that. You're deadly. So at this time of the year, the males will be nesting, so it's around breeding time after they've started to breed, and that the emu in the sky relates to this. So at a certain time, the emu in the sky will be sitting on the nest, and that tells us that the eggs are starting to develop inside, so it's not time to get the eggs. They have a close relationship with the condong trees. Without one another, they won't be able to survive. So the emu eats the condong seeds, condong fruits, and when they're digesting the seeds, what actually happens is the bile, it will regerminate the seed. So that's the only way that a condong seed can regrow, is if it's been passed through the emu's stomach. And another thing with the emu, when it needs to digest, it'll pick up a small stone or something shiny, and that stone will rattle around in its stomach, and that'll process the guna inside of it, so it can come out.
And there were a lot more emus around, or didn't one around, but because of them like to eat shiny rocks to help them digest, they were eating all the gold. Well, they were eating gold that they saw on the ground, and the miners found this out, and they went around and started killing all the emus for the gold in their stomach, which really decimated the numbers sort of around the Molong area all the way down through to Peak Hill.
Crikey, what have we got here? This is a beautiful specimen. Just look at the colours on that lovely green tree frog. Now, our Wiradjuri word for green tree frog is gungalam. And if you're going to touch these beautiful babies, make sure your hands are nice and wet, because if they're dry, it might cause some damage to the frog. It might dry the frog out. Or the gulanga. Gulanga is our general word for frog in Wiradjuri. But just look at those beautiful colours. Mate, they can come in any sorts of colours. You got this nice green up here, down here, and up here you got another different shade of green. And the one over the back, if you just pan the camera over the back, you can almost see that it's almost black up on top of that one, isn't it? What a beautiful creature that is. All right, in the snake season, if you see a lot of frogs around, you can almost guarantee that there's a snake around, because these snakes like to feed off these beautiful creatures. The guardian.
Hello. Well, you can share some knowledge that you know about this snake, my friend.
Well, this is Dal, and Dal's a children's python. He's only a little fella, so this is how big he'll get, so he's considered to be a small snake. He's from Central Australia, so he's a desert snake. And you can see the nice markings on his back there. So that's for him to hide in that country up there, like where it's a bit sandy, but there's a lot of little shrubs where they drop little seeds. So he's got those nice little markings to be able to blend in with the country up there, hide himself. He's also got some, you see down the side of his face, he's got some heat sensing pits down there, and that's when he's hunting. looking for food, when he's moving through the sand, there could be a native mice hiding underneath the sand, or a lizard or something like that, and you can just sense their heat and just pounce straight through the sand to get to them. They're pretty clever. Yeah. So you can see him sticking his tongue out.
Time.
Oh, sorry, I wasted your time. Alright, so you can see him sticking his tongue out, and what he's doing there is he's checking the temperature. He's trying to get to the warmest spot, because he's a reptile, he's cold-blooded, so he wants to get warm. And then he's also smelling. Alright, so this is a stick insect.
A stick insect is called Madan Gabang.
It's actually a female, and we can tell that by the size. The boys are smaller, so they're just skinny. They look more like a stick, like an actual stick. Whereas she looks that way. She looks a little bit like a dead leaf. So you can see she's starting to swing as though she's in the breeze. And if you're a dead leaf, no one wants to eat you. So it's all about camouflage with this species. So she's female. And another way we can tell is she's got little wings. The boys have really big wings. All right, so the girls don't fly. And if I hold her that way, she looks, we can get her to tuck her tail up. She looks a little bit like a scorpion. Yep. So it's all about camouflage. So, and if you can see in the back of her tail there, she's just got an egg. About to launch it out.
Is that what this is?
Yep, so we've got an egg here, and the other one's poo. Alright, so, and it's just basically crushed up eucalyptus leaves. So if you crush it up, smell it, it smells just like eucalyptus leaves. Alright, so these guys are really interesting. So the girls, they don't need to have any, they don't need to mate with a male to be able to have fertilised eggs. So if she's just laying eggs, and if you look in here, you might be able to see if you're on the ground. If she's just laying eggs, she's just laying female eggs. So she doesn't need a male to mate with to have, to reproduce. So, and then if she mates with a male, she'll get only male eggs. Alright. So what she does is she flicks the egg out, and then, so basically all the girls do all day is produce eggs and eat up in the tree. The boys got to fly around to find a female. And then if you have a look over here, you can see on the egg, on the end there's a little bit of sugar. Can you see that? Yep. So she's up in the trees and she's flicking out her eggs everywhere and then landing on the ground. And who lives on the ground? The ants. So ants think that that's a whole piece of sugar. So they take the whole egg back to their nest and they take it down in there and they eat the bit of sugar that's on the end. And then they realise it's all not sugar. They just chuck it away, leave it in there. But the ant's nest is the right temperature and humidity for that egg to, what's the word? Incubate, yeah. So then it takes about 18 months in there. Then once they hatch, when it's hatched, it looks like a baby ant. They think it's a baby ant, so they start looking after it, treat it like a baby ant. And as it gets bigger, it starts moving from the nest up into the trees again, start again. So they're all about camouflage, so they're pretty cool animals. Okay, and then, so they take about 18 months to incubate and to hatch, and then they only live for about 18 months. So it's a very short lifespan. There is about 50 different species of stick insects in Australia.
Would you like this back to me?
Oh yes, sorry. And the other bit in there is poo. You see that one? And if you just crush it up, so you can see it. You can see how green it is. Oh, yeah. Yep. And it's basically just smells like you crushed up eucalyptus. That's all it is. And pour that in there.
Here at Imarang again. Here we are at a daran, or a creek. In the creek we'll find yabbies, or as the other people call them, crayfish. You'll find a lot of your water birds. This is the type of area you would find a billabong, a platypus, because it's nice clear running water. Good thing about the platypus or billabong, if you see it in there, you know you've got nice drinking water. because they live in the nice clean water. Okay, so that's our daran, our creek. Anangu.
Green tree frog. And what I'm doing here is just spraying water on him, just so that he can stay wet, so it can help him to breathe. So what he does is he uses his skin to breathe. So what they do is they absorb the water in, and water's made of the chemical compound for water is H2O. Again, it's another sophisticated adaptation that he's evolved into over thousands and thousands of years. So what he's doing is absorbing the water straight into his body, taking out the oxygen directly into his bloodstream, and then he squirts out the rest, what he doesn't need. Yeah, so that's what he's doing. Now, frogs are really cool because if we don't look after these fellas, we're all gone pretty much. So they're really, really good indicators of how our environment's going, and especially our water systems. So what these guys, and that's because of that being able to absorb that water straight into the skin. If you're absorbing polluted products or polluted water into your skin, then you're going to die. So he tells us how good we're being to the planet and how, if we're looking after our country.
He's a good indicator that the country's good.
Yeah. So what they do is, because they've got that nice stretchy skin and it's transferable skin, like they can move the water in and out, what they do is their tongue is attached to their bottom lip, and they flick their food out, flick their tongue out, pull the food back in, and then they use their eyeballs to squash the food down into their stomach. So if you touch the roof of your mouth with your tongue, it's hard. You can't push through it. So Stumpy here, he doesn't have that, so he's got to use his eyeballs to push the food down into his stomach. Then if he doesn't agree with it and it makes him sick, he can pull his stomach out of his body, clean his stomach out, and then push it all back in. So that's a really cool adaptation. And that adaptation is also in our Dreamtime story, Tidlik. And we talk about him in the story going around and drinking all the water up. And the first time you're told that story, because you would be told a Dreamtime story, 4 or 5 times in your lifetime, depending on the level of knowledge that you need to know. But the first lesson in Tidlik is don't be greedy and to share. It's good for little kids to learn that. And then you would get told it again. And in the story, he drinks up all the water and gets really big, and the land goes into drought. But in that story, it also tells of his adaptation and what happened to him. So he got really, really big, and when you get really, really big, and then all the water comes out, and you get to a smaller size, your skin becomes really stretchy. So that's that adaptation, explaining that adaptation through that story. And then he has a good laugh. When he has a good laugh, he spills out all the water. When you have a good laugh, you feel good. And when you feel good, you want to do good things. So, and it talks about also the gut being connected to the heart and to the mind. So if the gut's not good, you're probably not eating right, you're probably not, looking after yourself. And if he's ingesting, polluted water, he's not going to feel good either, which means we ain't going to feel good. So it ties all that, it's all connected.
Behind me, we got many of the subspecies of the kangaroo. This is the redneck swamp wallaby, and the way we say it in Wiradjuri is burrodine.
So, he's a shingleback. He's also known as a two-headed lizard or a bobtail.
So, shingleback lizard, also known as bug-eye.
And you can see that their tail looks like their head. So that's a defence mechanism. So, and also their skin's a little bit like armour. So if a snake strikes them, it's harder for them to get through that skin, through those shingles. Or those scales, I should say, sorry. So what they do is, if a bird's up in the air, ready to come down, he'll move his tail as though it's his head, He can move his legs, his back legs to make it look like his front legs, and his front legs look like his back legs, so he can move them in a 360 motion. And then the bird will attack his tail, and he can turn around and bite the bird on the face, pretty much, on the head. Yeah, so they're pretty cool. So these guys are monogamous. Is that the right word? Am I saying the right word? So they'll mate with the same shingleback for the rest of their life once they've mated with their first mate. You can see this is gumnut, so she's got some colouring come through now. So as they get older, they'll lighten up in colour, and you can see he's got more colour because he's quite old, that fella over there. I didn't get him out because they do, when we get them up higher, they do suffer a bit of vertigo, and they sometimes poo everywhere. He's got his tongue sticking out there. Again, same as the snake, he's checking the temperature and smelling. But can you see how black his tongue is? She. So that tongue has its own SPF built into it. So when we get burnt, we put sunscreen on us. If you've got more pigment in your skin, you go darker. And that's pretty much what that is. Her tongue is full of pigment, so it's just like the same stuff as in SPF sunscreen. So she doesn't get sunburnt, because if you're sticking your tongue out all the time in Australia, it's going to get sunburnt. Yeah.
And predominantly where they found?
All down the east coast of Australia. Yeah.
Introducing the ringtail possum, or in Wiradjuri, gindine.
So she might be able to curl her tail around. You can see on the back of her tail she's got no fur. Yep. So that's just to help her grip, so she can use it like another tool. And she's not going to stay out. So if you want to have a pat.
Cute. Go there for a pat, Daddy.
How old?
So she's about 8 years old. So she's sort of like the equivalent of maybe a 20-year-old.
So she won't get much bigger than that?
No, this is as big as they get. So they're not like the brushies. The brushies get about,
They get big and nice and solid.
Yeah, but we used to have ringtail possums out here before farming and agriculture and settlement. So yeah, there was heaps of them. But if you're like, when their habitat became smaller, and if you're the smaller one and you're a territorial animal, what are you going to do? You're going to get out, ain't you? So these guys have sort of moved closer to the coast now, and we find them more on the coast. Yeah. But if you want to know the rest, you've got to come to my class.
Yeah.
Just want to give a massive Mandangul to Kirsty, the Aboriginal Programs Coordinator at Taronga Western Plains Zoo at the Education Centre. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and helping us out with the videos today. So Mandangul again.
Mandangul from AECG. Go are you? Later.
Crikey, that was good.
Now let's head up to Bunjalung country. It must be getting close to tucker time. Let's see what they're up to.
So when you're looking for jubal, you look for this sort of stuff. That's the poo. Okay? And what you do is you go, alright, we'll have a look, and you sort of trace it up. So there's more over here. Then you go, alright, so it must be close because there's a lot in this area. Then you always go, alright, then you follow it up, and then you find the hole there. See how it's bulging? See how it's all bulging there? Yep. Take that away. And that's it there. This tree's really good because I've got heaps out of this tree. You can see all the scars. I've ridden down the side, you'll see more. Yeah, I think I might go home and get the other axe. I think I left it at home. And you look around this side. You can see where I've done it before. So there's one here, an old one. And there's another one that's recent. The last, I think it was last season, that one. That was last season. There's another one. Yeah, they're all over the place. They're all over. That one there. Some up there. There's an old one there. So Gilbert's found some here. Oh yeah, you look at, see again.
Another one.
See again, there's a poo.
Shit come down.
And then you follow it up and there he is there. Okay, so there's two here we can get. As you can see, we're looking for jubble, which would be called witchetty grub. We do look for the poo that the jubble extract from their holes here, and you look for a hole that's all swollen. And you get your axe, sharp preferably. Safety is always the key. You always put your hand away when you're chopping into a tree. So you go from the top down. This one's a good one. Not too loud. Clear it out best you can. As you can see, there's the hole. Now you grab your wire, which I put around my handle. It's always there. And you just unravel it. And on the end of the wire you got a hook. And that's to hook the witchetty grub, the jubble, and you slowly pull it. Then you slowly pull it out. So what you do is you grab your hook, and it's up in the tree here somewhere. And he's just there. Sometimes they take a bit to get out because they are brittle. They've only got a thin skin. Sometimes you do bust them. And you go slowly, you feel you've got him. And then you pull him out. I've got him there. Pull him out like that. This one's a big one.
Look at the size of this jubble. Whoa.
There's your witchetty grub.
That's your jubble.
We say jubble. So yeah, he's a big one.
Nangin, shall we? Food.
So for you kids, I don't know if anyone of you fellas will eat this, but I love them. And I won't eat it raw, but it's a bit gluggy. But I'll cook the big ones. So yeah.
Deadly young. Deadly size. That's a 3.5 there.
Oh yeah. So you get about 4 of them, you got a good feed. They all come in different sizes, different types of their different stages of their maturity. So the little ones are real pink. As they get bigger, they get more prominent white colour. There we go.
Well, there we go. 2 jubbals out of this one tree. Well, very yummy, very nice. Alright. If you haven't tried one, have a go, because you won't turn back once you taste it. It tastes so yummy.
What do they taste like, Gil?
When I like to hear them, they got a sort of a nutty taste. Real nutty taste, like a macadamia nut. That's similar to what are native macadamias, but I love them, very nutty.
We've got the jubal in all its glory. And we're just about to put it on the barbie. We can't make a fire at the moment because there's a bit of restrictions around, so we just chop them on like this. And the other one, I do wriggle a bit. That won't last long. So, a bit of heat coming off there now. So we just cook it. Like so. So he won't stop moving. You won't take him on your peel over. So yeah, so you cook the jubal. We'll get back to when they're cooked and show you how you eat them. So we got a bit of salt on the jubal. And brother Darren here's gonna have a go. Wait there, Darren. Alright, here's a jubal first taste. Put it straight in there. It's alright?
It's alright.
Yeah. All good?
Tastes alright. Tastes deadly.
Come on, Gil, have a go.
Lovely. Give me a go, jubal. Right?
Alright, grab your piece there. Right there. Right there.
Jubal, lovely, nanging, food, very yummy.
Come on then. That's him.
Oh, lovely, more.
There you go there.
Lovely, fresh too.
I could do one of those jubals.
You know what my problem is, Kayara? After a good feed, I get real sleepy. Maybe those Gamilaroi fellas might have a good song for us to relax to.
Good idea, Warren. Let's go and check them out.
Yamangindai Ngaya Gaya Kelsey. Hello everyone, my name is Kelsey. I work as a project officer for the State New South Wales AECG. So a little song you would have heard me sing earlier was called Thee, and in Gamilaroi language that means animals. So these are some of the animals that have been mentioned in the song. So we've got bandar, kangaroo, dinawan, emu, gurgurgaga, kookaburra, gura, koala, mullion, wedge-tailed eagle, and bigibilla, echidna. So what I'm singing in the first line, I'm saying, see the bandar hopping, see the kangaroo hopping, see the emu running, hear the kookaburra laughing, and then the next verse is the koala is resting, because you know we always see koalas just lazy, resting or eating in the tree, eating the gum leaves in the tree. Then we've got mullion in the sky, because you know you always see his beautiful big wings flying in the sky, and bigibilla eating ants. So that's what the little song translates to. And I hope that you learned something new today and you enjoyed listening to the little song and learning some words about our animals in Gamilaroi language. Mayuba or Maruba, thank you.
Gee, that was deadly. Hasn't Kelsey got a great voice?
Yes, she does. You know, our people are storytellers, and I hear that Gumbengi mob are great storytellers.
Yes, Kyara. Maybe they can share a story with us today. Let's check in with them.
Kinagani Joan. Nanyundi Bajar Carey. I am Gumbengi. I am the Gumbenga Language and Culture Project Officer. Today we're going to share Gulebum Dungir, the story of how the kangaroo got its tail.
Kalang, biwa nganyun di Jun. Nga jawala nyagalyo, Jun gari guri. Ya kalaminya warunga, Jun gari. Jala wandangin the goyo.
Minya guguyu.
Ila mingin the wajada. Ngali Jun yirela.
Ni par naya jalawe guguyu.
Ngali Jun yirela daro yai.
Minyigay nyanya ninda jungu guyu.
Jiring in the wandi ay waru biguda. Nginda jalaway muluna biguna. Jiring in the ngaru.
Nabi na janalo wandi bigur.
Biway nginun di gulong.
Biway naya jalawe na lungu na bigu. Biway na nyundi gulung yuagin naya yanji gulumbia.
Ya nganyun di gulong. Nga jamani jay galija.
Wow! Nidi ninda maneng galija gulung.
Nga jangi ng nguraw gulong.
Jugi ninda gulung guyo.
Ya yang galija gulong nga jamani jay guyo. Ya nga jangi ng nguraw gulong. Nginda galanganya ngurayang inundi Jun?
Nipar naja nurao nyanundi Jun. Nurao bar nanya yang galinga gulung. Nuranda naja nyala guyu.
Yari ngari gulong ngino ngaro ngambigu mulu barugi da biguda.
Kalang yari nanyundi gulung malulungu.
Ngura gala nganyu Jun jaginja.
Yari pa nino Jun najaga nurao nino Jun. Yari ka naja burang bundu burao. Jagin jari ge ninda naja bungi gurla. Majay gurla.
Ila minginda ngaja galija nginum bala mugala kulong. Ngiga nginda ngambi guyu ngaro. Ngari gulong mila dama ngarugo. Ngiga nginda wandi bigur gulung gario. Piega nginda balungyo. Nginda warunga ngaingi, boleri garobon.
Ninda gala jogo, muri, dulebum, ige, biamari ninda garaji.
Were those animals real, Kyra?
You're so Cameron, Warren. Now you see why they're great storytellers. That's all we have time for today. We hope that you've enjoyed what we shared and continue on your learning of the rich and unique culture of Aboriginal people.
The New South Wales AECG has many different programs that we run for students and teachers across New South Wales. Have a look at our website and social media pages for more details, or feel free to give us a call. Happy National Aboriginal Children's Day and Education Week from all of us. See you later.
Yalu.